Big Z Reviews. Ballerina is a new film that is set in the world of John Wick, and I think is now the first attempt at really having a John Wick film without John Wick. But then they got too scared about it, so they shoved them into the film in the third act. And I still really enjoyed it. It was a fun action flick. It's just some of the stuff about it revolving around Keanu Reeves' John Wick was a little odd.
To stop the assassin, you must become the assassin. You will always be weaker. You will always be smaller. You want to win? Improvise. Adapt.
So this stars Ana de Armas as Eve, the ballerina, and this place, she's like the orphan daughter of an assassin in this weird cult group that they've never been talked about in the world of John Wick, but is massive and is very dangerous and no one wants to mess with. And her father tried to get her out as a kid, but failed. And then she kind of becomes, like, she trains as the Ruska Roma. I think essentially as what Keanu Reeves' family was, like where he trained. But as the ballerina, I think it's John Wick 3. They saw like a lot of the training when he got like excommunicated and he had to use his pass or whatever to ask for a favor. And like the original, like the first cameo from John Wick actually makes a lot of sense. Like, this is when she was still, like, a student before she's, like, a full assassin. And, like, she meets him and, like, it's just, like, a really quick cameo. And I feel like that was probably all it was going to be. And I wouldn't be surprised if the director, Len Wiseman, like, I've heard there's some shenanigans with some behind-the-scenes stuff. But I wouldn't be surprised if the audiences that were the test audience were like, so where's John Wick? I want to see more John Wick. And okay, we'll force him in at the end. And it's funny, the third act, like, it's some cool stuff because, like, it's actually a lot of death, a lot like, it's up there with a lot of the other films because essentially this town, like, everyone has been trained as an assassin from a child. So, like, she goes into this town not sure what to expect, and then, like, the bartender is an assassin, like, the butcher is an assassin, like, and she has to kill a bunch of people. But, like, it's funny, at a certain point, like, the boss, the guy that killed her father, and one that, like, when she gets brought back in, she's, like, she goes on a revenge mission. But, he calls Angelica Houston, the head of the Ruska Roma, and is like, we're about to go to war if you don't, because of your person, and is like, oh, I'll send someone to deal with it. And of course it's the Baba Yaga, John Wick. And it's like, it's very clear earlier, like, they show the scene from, I think it was John Wick 3, where, like, they put the brand on the tattoo saying, yeah, you're no longer family. You cashed this ticket in and you're done. You can never come back. And then, like, at this certain point, like a couple of years later, I think, it's not exactly sure what the time frame is, but, like, now, like, the Ruska Roma can, like, John Wick is an assassin again for them. And it's like, so is this confirming that John Wick is alive? But then that wouldn't make sense because in John Wick 4, like, he had a tombstone. We never saw him die. So I think that for a perfect John Wick 5 to me would be that he did actually die, but now he's in hell and he has to find a way to escape hell to get to heaven to be with his wife. Like, that's what I want. But, like, they also could just have him fake his death. But if he faked his death, he wouldn't be working as an assassin for his family that got rid of him, essentially. Like, it doesn't make sense at all. But then at the same time, you get a great fight scene between Ana de Armas and Keanu Reeves. It's a lot of fun. And then you get him kind of like he says, okay, you have until 12 o'clock, and then I have to kill you. It's so that it gets a more time frame to amp stuff up for the final, the flamethrower duels, like this. The whole movie, the action is great, but like the overarching stuff, like this doesn't make sense. It doesn't, like, I don't see, like, all of the John Wicks are pretty consecutive. Like, most of them, they happen like one after the other. There is no time for him after, I think it was John Wick 3, that one, like, I might be screwing up John Wick 2 and John Wick 3, but like, there's no time frame for him to go on this random mission where he's now an assassin again and go kill Ana de Armas. Like, it just doesn't work. And also, it doesn't really, I feel like if you want to have this whole sort of thing, it would have made more sense if it was her teacher. Like, there's this woman from the beginning that when she's a child that is like training her, Sharon Duncan-Brew as Nogi. And like, I feel like that would have made more sense if her teacher was there, that same role that John Wick had. But like, apart from that stuff, this is a great action flick. I like Ana de Armas a lot, and they even, like, right away, I always have a problem when like 100-pound woman is shown taking down an equally trained 200-pound man. Like, it just, the momentum, if they're not superheroes, if there's not something like special about them, like, it always kind of breaks my immersion a little. But they're pretty good using it throughout the movie, because I mean, if with a knife or a gun, it doesn't matter how small you are, if you're trained and know how to use it. But like, there's only, and it's funny, it's part, like, during her training, like, she's losing to the other people in like the jiu-jitsu training, and like the teacher is like, you must fight like a girl, and then he like pretty much demolishes the guy's nuts, and it's like, yeah, but like, I like that they address that, and throughout the film, they don't get into too many, like, clear, like, no weapon, hand-to-hand stuff, where the guy could literally just throw her around. The choreography is pretty good. The only time where I kind of caused me to go, was when, like, when she first gets back to the guy that has, like, the X on their wrist to show that they're part of this cult. And like, it's part of this mission. That's too bad they don't really show. It's kind of like, it's supposed to be after a couple of months after she's been an assassin. She's now like pretty good assassin. And you kind of see the aftermath of this great action scene. It's like, I wouldn't mind seeing that action scene, but it's still kind of fun, like having her walk through it, like seeing all the chaos that had been. But like, it's a relatively bigger guy, and like she's just in a car accident, but then he has like an axe, and he comes into full force, and she like blocks it, and then like keeps fighting, and it's like, I think the momentum of that big dude would have sent her flying. But it's fine, And too, for being Ballerina, like, they didn't use her being a ballerina as much as any impact in her fighting and her style or anything. It was just that, like, she had the focus from like this ballerina in a jar, like playing Tchaikovsky, that she's like, as part of a kind of a plot point. And then like her friend that isn't a good enough assassin, is too good of a ballerina, leaves to become a ballerina, and she stays to become an assassin. But like, it's like the ballerina is literally just her spinning and falling and like and beating up her toes. Like the one scene we saw when John Wick came to them, like she was one of the women that they're training to constantly spinning to like just torture them or whatever. But like the actual movie, I liked it a lot. I think the only issue is, again, like at a certain point, like towards the end, you find out more stuff, and then like I don't understand, like the big bad guy, the Chancellor, played by Gabriel Byrne, like he his the whole goal of their cult and what they're doing isn't that well formed, and also the way it interacts with the rest of the world. Again, like they have another at one point in a different one of the continent, not the Continental, but one of the buildings, the safe houses where people aren't allowed to kill anyone on the grounds. But like there's another people like, oh, they raised the bounties to $3 million. I'm gonna kill myself. They're a bunch of assassins. Like Norman Reedus, another is trying to again get his daughter out, like her dad tried to get her out, and like there's like all these assassins. Don't they realize the second they will try to kill someone on the consecrated grounds or whatever they call it, like that's like a death sentence. Like $3 million isn't worth your death. Like unless you have like, I don't think even if you succeed, I don't know if the bounty money would still go to your family. I don't know, but like there's a lot of great stuff here. Like it's the action is on the John Wick's level, and Ana de Armas is great. And like the revenge story is a little weak, like, but like and then they introduce like other characters that like I wish they would have done more with. Like there's another character that I would have been cool to have like another person with her toward the end instead of just like what happens. But it's good. If I give like an 8.25 out of 10, it's definitely like when I compare it to other John Wick films, I would put it at the bottom. Like I would put all the John Wick films above it, but it's still really good, and I still had a lot of fun. But thanks for watching. If you want to see more of me, you can subscribe down below. Thanks.